Who is the artist? Paul Cézanne, Georges Seurat, or Vincent van Gogh? These three artists were called post-impressionists. Their styles developed from Impressionism in the years 1880 to 1905. You'll learn how to sense the individual style and subjects of each artist by observing their paintings carefully and comparing and contrasting each one. Cézanne, Seurat, and Van Gogh all lived in Paris over 100 years ago, when it looked like this. Vincent van Gogh especially liked to paint landscapes and portraits. He painted with energy and passion every day, squeezing thick oil paints directly from the tubes and often spreading it with his fingers. Georges Seurat was inspired by the colors of the Impressionists and intrigued with the scientific analysis of color. He discovered that by placing dots of pure hues next to one another, he could let the viewer's eyes blend them together to create truly vibrant colors. You'll see that his paintings show careful composition, a highly formal quality, and a kind of quiet beauty. Paul Cézanne liked to paint landscapes, portraits, and still lifes. He had a theory that nature is made up of geometrical forms and would compose his pictures mathematically. He painted a complex grid of squares and rectangles across a landscape. I'll let you spend a little more time now with the work of each artist so that you can observe and analyze each painting. This self-portrait of Vincent van Gogh was the beginning of the many richly colored and textured paintings he created near the end of his life. Van Gogh was born in Holland and eventually moved to Paris. From there, he went to Arles in the south of France. Unfortunately, his mental depression soon caused him to commit himself into a mental institution where he spent some months. He recovered somewhat and went north to Auvers, living with a doctor and continuing to paint. However, at the age of 37, he took his own life after he again became depressed with his lack of success as a painter. Van Gogh is perhaps the best known of the post-impressionists. He sold only one painting during his lifetime, but after his death, his fame grew rapidly. Let's look more closely at his painting Wheatfield with Mark, painted when he still lived in Paris. Although Van Gogh learned from the Impressionists about painting out of doors and using brighter colors, he had strong ideas of his own. Here, he painted what he observed, dividing his painting into three simple bands: the foreground of dry grass, the wheat, and the sky. Notice the soft, airy brushstrokes he used for the sky. When Van Gogh painted the wheat in this painting, he used really thick paint and short, crisp brushstrokes to get the textural quality he wanted for the wheat moving in the wind. He used the same kind of stroke for the flowers and the grass. This is one technique which will help you recognize Van Gogh's unique style in other paintings. The single bird, a lark, emphasizes the feeling of wind blowing over the yellow wheat field. What word would you choose to describe the mood of this painting? When Van Gogh moved to Arles, he found a little yellow house where he began to paint portraits of people who lived nearby. He called this colorful portrait La Mousme, after being inspired by a character in a popular novel. Van Gogh discovered while painting La Mousme that he didn't have to imitate the real colors of his subject. He boldly used strong blue, red, and orange for the stripes and spots on the girl's dress. The colors of her skin, the chair, and the subtle green in the background are more neutral colors. Can you see the texture of Van Gogh's brushstrokes? To make this texture, he used really thick paint. I'm sure you've noticed that this is a technique which will help you recognize Van Gogh's unique style in other paintings. Van Gogh painted Sidewalk Cafe at night, out of doors with candles to light his canvas and his palette. He felt that the night was more alive and more richly colored than the day. He used two of his favorite colors in the painting, blue and yellow-orange. The warm yellow-orange of the cafe contrasts with the blue-black of the far-off buildings and the brighter blue of the sky and the doorway. The strongest contrast is in the center of the picture, where the awning touches the sky. Rhythm, a principle of design, was created with the repetition of the jagged blue triangle of sky and the triangular orange floor, as well as with the round misty stars and the circles of the tabletops. You have now studied the style of painting and the favorite subjects of Vincent van Gogh in 3 of his paintings. Think about his style. He created texture by using thick paint. He used bold, sometimes unrealistic colors. He liked painting landscapes and cityscapes out of doors. He liked painting portraits.